Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving last week and was able to have an awesome time with their loved ones. But anyway, today we are talking about why consistency and congruence, my bad, are key in your marketing. But before that, this show is brought to you by Business Marketing Engine. If you need unique marketing solutions to build your business, head over to businessmarketingengine.com. And now let's get the show started. Let me hand it over to our host. Good morning, Gabe.
Good morning, Jethro. Thank you. Yeah, and I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving here in the States, and hopefully had some good time off with family and loved ones. And back at it today. I know that this time of year there's a couple things that usually come up for me. One, I start to think about, okay, what did I accomplish this year? I start to reflect and see, was I able to hit my goals and intentions for the year? And then also I start to look ahead and start to think about, what's coming for next year. So, obviously what's coming for 2022. And I also notice that a lot of people this time of year will start to either they'll make a little bit more reactive decisions sometimes and say like, oh, like, this year wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or wasn't as good as I thought. So I'm gonna make, I'm gonna have a big sale, or I'm gonna, the other thing I see people do a lot of is like, oh, we did really well this year, so I'm gonna go out and, buy something and lower my tax bill. Regardless of what kind of action folks take, I see a little bit more reactivity this time of year. I also think it's probably because we have like two shorter months almost in the States. Like this year, we were off Thursday and Friday, so we had 2 working days off, which is like 10% of the month. And then similar over the holidays, things slow down, and there's just not, it's just different schedule wise. Um, but what this reminds me of is that if you're kind of like hedging on end of the year to make like a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale, like carry you over the line, or if you only wait till this time of year to do things, then your marketing is going to struggle a lot more than if you focus on consistency and congruency. And so the reason I want to talk about those today is that rather than waiting till like end of December, first of the year to set, New Year's goals or New Year's intentions, New Year's resolutions. That's what it is. I'm trying to remember what they're called. Um, Rather than wait till then, I think it's really a good idea to, on a weekly basis, reflect on where are we and where do we want to go. And in order to be successful in your marketing, there's a couple things that are really important. One is being consistent. When you're consistent in your marketing, regardless of whatever method you're using, then you are able to build trust with your audience. And something as simple as sending a weekly email or an email a couple times a week, if you're consistent in sending that out, then what you're going to do is people are going to start to expect your emails on the same day and time. They're going to see your name in their inbox. They're going to start to trust that you're consistently doing the same work, that you're consistently offering something of value. And so out of that consistency comes trust. And related to that is congruency. For those of you that are on my email list, if you're not, you can go to gabeswords.com. It's a plural, gabeswords.com, and you can join the list because I'll have some fun stuff coming out this week. But for those of you that are on my list, I typically talk about entrepreneurship and leadership, and I offer things that will help you grow your business. So I talk about those things pretty consistently. If out of the blue I started emailing you about politics and who you should vote for, that would be incongruent to my message and to who I am and what I normally talk about, and it would actually create distrust. And so that's an example of if we do something that's incongruent, then it ends up hurting our marketing. The other thing that's important in congruency, and this is something that it's really good to understand regardless of your role in your company. If you're the entrepreneur or founder, you're the business owner, or you're a manager or leader, or just if you're one of the team members that's contributing, direct contributor, it's important to understand this. But the other thing to pay attention to, so like regardless of your role, if you know this, you can support your whole team, is if you take a look at like your ad or your starting point in the customer journey where they're starting to engage with your company and your brand, and they look at an ad and it says, use something simple like, you know, this formula can help you lose weight and have more energy than ever before. It's because we're getting towards that time of year where a lot of that stuff gets promoted. So again, like lose weight and have more energy than you ever did before. If that's the ad, and then we click through and we see a video or a landing page, and the landing page doesn't essentially say virtually the same thing, if not exactly the same thing. If it were to say like, these 10 steps will help you be a better parent, let's just say it's totally off the mark. That incongruency will make people not trust you, and they'll click away from the ad, and they'll go, well, this isn't what I signed up for, this isn't why I clicked. But if from the ad that says, this will help you lose weight and have more energy, and then you hit the landing page and it'll say, here's exactly how you can lose weight and have more energy, then that's congruency. And that's at a macro level of congruency. At a very detailed level, when you start to look at something like that, if you click through and the URL that you're on has like a / lose weight, get more energy, and that's the URL, even that little detail in the congruency will actually affect your conversions. And the reason I bring that up is that sometimes we have marketing that goes out, or sometimes we start something and we don't really think about or realize that all the little details add up to the whole picture of what somebody is expecting, or why they clicked through. And so if in a video or on a landing page or in any of your marketing, you have an image that's incongruent and just doesn't fit the whole, theme or tone of the page, then that can throw people off. If some of the copy that you wrote doesn't really fit with the whole, the whole picture and the whole vision that you're trying to paint, then you have incongruency. And all of us in the real world encounter incongruencies. Like, just being candid and transparent and honest, like I normally email my list at least twice a week. And I think last week I only did once. I have to go back and look, but I wasn't super consistent. So there was an incongruency there. And even though I normally do that on a consistent basis, last week will not disrupt my whole list. Like everybody will get an email from me tomorrow as usual at the regular time, and we'll be back on pace. So there's little things that we overlook every day that are okay in how we market and how we show up for people. But if there's massive incongruencies or consistent incongruency or consistent inconsistency, then we end up just breaking down that trust. And so all those little details matter. And it always reminds me of like the folks that study, like who detect fake currency, like, fake money. They study the real thing. They don't ever study all the fakes. They study the real dollar bills. They study the real currency, because if you know the real thing, you can spot the incongruencies. And so I know it's kind of a little bit more of a theoretical conversation for the show today, but it's a great reminder that we need to show up in congruency and consistency and authenticity to who we are, because when there's big or little details, out of place, that's when we can start to erode trust unintentionally. And so it's really important to think about, for this whole customer journey, from when they first heard about me or the ad or the touch point or the email to where they click through to everything where they're going, does it feel congruent? And sometimes as the creator of our own marketing or the creator of our own ideas, we fill in the gap automatically in our head. And that's why it's always a good idea to do two things. One is a really simple thing you can do, which is you can read your own, copy aloud. You can read out loud, and you'll catch where you assumed you wrote or you assumed you wrote a word in, but you totally forgot to actually write it in. So reading aloud is like almost like hearing somebody else say it back to you. So that's a great way to test your congruency. And then the second thing is, it's always a good idea to get a second set of eyes on what you're building. Somebody else on your team, a colleague, another friend, or even a family member, and say, hey, can you look at this and just tell me honestly the things that stand out, because I want to make it excellent. So what are the things that maybe feel incongruent, or are there any details that are missed, or is there anything that's confusing? And when you take that approach, you're able to continually improve and optimize the marketing that you're putting out there. And you're also able to just, grow and learn in your own marketing skills. And so those are the things just to keep in mind, is because again, like this time of year, I see people being a little bit more reactive with their marketing or with the decisions they're making in business. And so it causes some of that kind of sporadicness, if that's a word. And And so just that's really the message I want to share is just continue to think about like, how do I be consistent in my marketing? How do I be congruent with who I am, obviously, and who your organization is, but also from the touch point of the ad to the landing page to all the follow up. Are you able to make it as congruent as possible? Because that just raises trust. And the simplest way, often, to determine if you are being effective on that front is to get a second set of eyes on it. Either, like I said, inside your team, if somebody's willing to be candid and honest, which you can encourage and coach from them, or outside your team, somebody that will say, yeah, like, I think this part great, or this part really doesn't look so good, or I'm confused. Getting that outside opinion is really going to help you. So as always, we're here to help you. So if you need help on the marketing front, we can help you continue to grow and build that, and really build a marketing engine that is going to help your business grow and scale over time. But that's what I want to share with everyone today. So turn it back to you, Jethro.
Thank you, Gabe. And that's it for today on the Engine Builder Show. Thank you again for taking time to listen to our show. If you like our content, then hit that like, follow, and subscribe. If you want to get notified when we get live, hit that bell as well. Again, for unique marketing business solutions, head over to businessmarketingengine.com. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you, everybody.